The stars burned cold and silent as the Krell armada swept through the Viridian cluster like a plague of metal locusts. Their ships numbered in the hundreds, each one painted in the blood-red colors of conquest. For 200 cycles they had done this same dance across the galaxy. Attack, destroy, move forward. No one could stop them. Commander Jothik stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Devastator. His four eyes watched the planet below burn. Another world fell to the Krell dominion. Another species learned what it meant to resist them. He felt nothing but satisfaction. Report, Jothik commanded. His voice was rough like grinding stone. The Confederation fleet has been destroyed, Commander. His tactical officer said. Only scattered survivors remain. They are fleeing deeper into their territory. Jothik's mandibles clicked together in what passed for a Krell smile. The Confederation had been the last real resistance in this sector. 7 different alien species had united against the Krell. They built ships together. They shared their weapons. They promised to fight as one. It had not mattered. How many of our ships did we lose? Jothik asked. 47 destroyed, Commander. Another 63 damaged but repairable. Such losses would have broken another fleet, but the Krell bred quickly and built their ships faster. For every vessel destroyed, 3 more rolled out of their shipyards. Numbers were their strength. Numbers and their willingness to sacrifice anything for victory. Below on the dying planet, millions of voices cried out in terror. Jothik ignored them. The weak had no right to exist in his universe. Set course for Sanctuary Prime, he ordered. The Confederation has one last refuge. We will crush it and end this war. His officers moved to obey. Throughout the massive fleet, engines roared to life. The armada began its slow turn, preparing to jump through hyperspace. Jothik pulled up a holographic display of the sector. Red markers showed Krell-controlled space. It covered most of the map now. Blue markers showed what remained of the Confederation. Just 3 systems with Sanctuary Prime at their heart, but there was something else on the map. A region marked in gray, unknown space. No explorer who entered that region ever returned. Ships went in. Nothing came back. No distress signals. No debris fields. Just silence. The Krell called it the Silent Sector. Commander, his science officer spoke up. We are detecting another distress signal. It appears to be directed toward the Silent Sector. Jothik growled low in his throat. The Confederation grows desperate. They call out to ghosts in empty space. Should we pursue and destroy the transmitter? No, let them waste their energy. Jothik waved a clawed hand dismissively. Focus on Sanctuary Prime. Once we take it, the Confederation will have no choice but to surrender. Deep in the Confederation's last command center, Admiral Kessetral watched his people die. The aged alien's skin had turned pale gray with stress. His species once ruled 12 worlds. Now they huddled on 3 waiting for the end. Any response to our signals? He asked quietly. His communication officer shook his head. Nothing, Admiral. We have been broadcasting into the Silent Sector for 6 standard hours. There is no reply. Admiral Kessetral had not expected one. 30 years ago, the Confederation had made contact with signals from that region. Brief, tantalizing messages that spoke of another civilization, one that called themselves humans. The Confederation sent diplomats, trade envoys, requests for alliance. The humans had replied only once. We are watching. We will consider your request, then silence. 30 years of silence. Admiral, the Krell fleet is moving, Tactical reported. They are heading for Sanctuary Prime. At their current speed, they will arrive in 4 days. 4 days until the end. Sanctuary Prime held 3 billion souls, refugees from dozens of worlds, children who had never known peace, elders who had seen their homes burn. Evacuate as many as we can, Kestrel ordered, though he knew it was hopeless. They did not have enough ships. They could not save everyone. Admiral, the communication officer suddenly sat up straight. I am detecting something at the edge of the Silent Sector. A ship just appeared on our long-range sensors. Is it Krell? No, sir. The configuration does not match any known vessel in our database. It is moving toward us, very fast. Admiral Kessetral felt something he had not felt in years, a small flicker of hope. Can you identify it? The officer worked frantically at his console. Negative. The ship is unlike anything we have seen. It is transmitting a designation, but the language is not in our translation matrix. Wait. Cross-referencing with old files. Admiral, I think it is human. The bridge fell silent. Every eye turned to the main view screen. There, barely visible against the stars, a single ship glided through space. Its hull was smooth and dark, almost invisible. Strange markings covered its surface. At the prow, words in an alien script gleamed softly. "What does it say?" Kessetral asked. The officer's translator struggled with the text. "TUFS, Indomitable. I believe TUFS stands for Terran United Fleet Ship." "Terran," Kessetral whispered. "Another name for human." The ship moved with purpose, crossing the distance between the silent sector and Confederation space in hours. It should have taken days. Whatever engines the humans possessed, they far exceeded anything the Confederation had built. "Are they responding to our distress signals?" "Unknown, Admiral. They have not attempted communication. They are simply approaching." Word spread quickly through Sanctuary Prime. A human ship had emerged from the silent sector. People gathered in public squares watching the news feeds. Some prayed to their various gods. Others simply stared in wonder. The Krell fleet detected the human ship 12 hours later. Jothik studied the sensor readings with confusion. "One ship?" "Yes, Commander. A single vessel of unknown design. It appeared from the silent sector and is moving toward Confederation space." Jothik laughed. His whole bridge crew joined in. One ship. The Confederation had called for help and one ship answered. It was almost insulting. "What is the ship's armament?" he asked. "Scanning now, Commander. It is difficult to analyze. Their hull seems to absorb our sensor beams, but it appears to be heavily armed. I count at least 40 weapons ports. And we have 600 ships," Jothik said. "Still, we should not ignore any potential threat. Divert 3 destroyers to intercept and destroy this vessel. Let the humans know what happens to those who interfere with the Krell Dominion." 3 sleek Krell destroyers broke formation and accelerated toward the human ship. Each destroyer carried enough firepower to level a city. They approached the Indomitable with weapons charged and shields at maximum. Inside the Indomitable, Captain Sarah Chen sat in the command chair. She watched the 3 Krell ships approach on her tactical display. Her crew waited silently at their stations. They had trained for this moment for 30 years. "They are hailing us, Captain," the communication officer reported. "Ignore them," Chen said calmly. "Continue on our current course." The Krell destroyers moved into attack formation. Their commander sent one final warning, then gave the order to fire. Plasma torpedoes streaked through space, bright and deadly. They struck the Indomitable's shields and dissolved harmlessly like raindrops hitting steel. The Krell commander stared in shock. Nothing survived a direct hit from their plasma torpedoes. Nothing. "Again," he shouted. "Fire everything!" All 3 destroyers unleashed their full arsenal. Missiles, energy beams, kinetic rounds. The space around the Indomitable lit up like a small sun. When the light faded, the human ship remained, undamaged, unharmed. It continued forward as if nothing had happened. Captain Chen leaned forward slightly. "Weapons," she said quietly. "Single salvo railgun target all 3 vessels." "Aye, Captain." The Indomitable fired once. 3 metal slugs, each moving at a significant fraction of light speed, crossed the distance in seconds. 3 Krell destroyers simply ceased to exist. No explosion, no debris. Just gone, vaporized by the kinetic impact. Across the galaxy, everyone who had been watching the sensor feed stood in stunned silence. The Krell had attacked, and one human ship had destroyed 3 of their destroyers with a single shot. Captain Chen opened a channel. Her voice broadcast across all frequencies, in perfect Krell language. "You have attacked a Terran vessel unprovoked. Withdraw your fleet immediately or be destroyed. This is your only warning." In his flagship, Commander Jothik felt something he had not experienced in a very long time. Fear. Commander Jothik replayed the footage for the 5th time. 3 destroyers, gone in an instant. The human weapon had moved so fast his sensors barely registered it. One moment his ships existed, the next they were atoms scattered across space. "Analysis," he demanded. His science officer looked terrified. "Commander, the projectiles achieved approximately 15% of light speed. The kinetic energy released on impact was equivalent to a small nuclear device. For each projectile. And their shields? We have no data on their composition. Our plasma torpedoes, which can melt through reinforced hull plating, had no effect whatsoever." Jothik's claws dug into his command throne. Around him, his bridge crew waited nervously. They had never seen their commander like this. Uncertain, hesitant, but Jothic had not become fleet commander by showing weakness. He straightened, forcing confidence into his voice. "One ship," he said loudly. "One ship destroyed 3 of ours through surprise and superior weapons, but they are still 1 ship against 600. We are the Krell Dominion. We do not run from a single enemy vessel." His tactical officer spoke carefully. "Commander, perhaps we should report this to High Command, request additional support." "And tell them what? That we fear 1 ship?" Jothic's voice rose. "That we turned back from our objective because of 1 lucky hit? No. We will destroy this human vessel and prove that nothing can stop the Krell." He brought up the tactical display. The human ship continued toward Confederation space, moving at speeds that should have been impossible. It would reach Sanctuary Prime in 2 days. "Prepare a battle group," Jothic ordered. 47 ships, cruisers, destroyers, and 2 carriers. I want them to intercept this human ship and reduce it to debris. Use overwhelming force, give them no chance to use their weapons. "Yes, Commander." Orders flashed across the Krell fleet. Ships broke formation and assembled into a hunting pack. 47 vessels, each one an instrument of war. Surely, Jothic thought, surely that would be enough. On Sanctuary Prime, billions watched the sky. News of the human ship had spread like wildfire. In refugee camps, families gathered around flickering view screens. In government bunkers, military officers tracked every movement. Admiral Kessistrel stood in his command center, surrounded by holographic displays. The human ship was now clearly visible on all sensors. Behind it, a massive Krell battle group formed up. "Should we warn them?" his tactical officer asked. "They know," Kessistrel said quietly. "I am certain they know exactly what is coming." He was right. Aboard the Indomitable, Captain Chen watched the Krell ships gather with calm interest. 47 vessels, her tactical officer reported. 2 carriers with fighter complements. Estimated total armament exceeds our last engagement by a factor of 15. "Acknowledged," Chen said. She touched her communication panel. "Engineering. Status?" "All systems nominal, Captain. Shields at full capacity. Weapons charged and ready. Point defense grid online." "Very good." Chen stood and walked to the main view screen. The Krell ships were moving to surround her vessel. Classic pack tactics. They would try to overwhelm her from all sides simultaneously. "Captain," her first officer said. "They are in range, awaiting your orders." Chen was quiet for a moment. 30 years. 30 years they had watched the Krell ravage the galaxy. 30 years they had prepared for this moment. Earth had debated endlessly. Should they intervene? Should they stay hidden? Should they risk human lives for aliens they barely knew? The decision had finally come. Not from politicians or councils. From the screams of 3 billion souls on Sanctuary Prime, waiting to die. "Open a channel," Chen said. "All Krell vessels." The channel opened. Chen spoke clearly, knowing her words would echo across the galaxy. "This is Captain Sarah Chen of the Terran United Fleet Ship Indomitable. You have assembled a war fleet and are approaching with obvious hostile intent. I have already warned your fleet commander once. I will not warn you again. Turn back now, or I will destroy every single one of your ships." On the Krell flagship, officers listened in disbelief. 1 human, threatening 47 ships? Jothic responded personally. "Human captain, you destroyed 3 of my vessels through trickery and surprise. You will not find us so easy to kill now. Surrender your ship and we will grant you a quick death." Chen smiled, though the Krell could not see it. "I gave you a chance. Remember that." She cut the channel and returned to her command chair. "All hands battle stations, weapons free, execute protocol hammer." The Krell battle group struck first. Hundreds of missiles launched simultaneously. Energy beams carved through space. Fighter craft poured from the carriers like angry insects. The Indomitable's point defense system activated. Laser turrets, too fast for the eye to follow, tracked and eliminated incoming missiles. Every single one. 200 missiles became 200 small explosions, none closer than 500 meters to the human ship. The energy beams hit the Indomitable's shields. Unlike the plasma torpedoes, these actually made the shields flicker. But they held. The Krell weapons simply could not generate enough power to breach them. Return fire, Chen ordered calmly. Railguns, full spread. Then launch Missile Package Alpha. The Indomitable's railguns spoke. Not once, but in a continuous barrage. Slugs of metal, accelerated to incredible speeds, crossed the distance to the Krell ships in seconds. A Krell cruiser took a direct hit. The slug punched straight through its shields, through its armor, and out the other side. The ship listed, atmosphere venting from the massive hole. More hits. A destroyer broke in half. Another cruiser lost its entire forward section. The Krell had never faced weapons like these. Their shields, designed to disperse energy, did almost nothing against solid projectiles moving at relativistic speeds. Then the missiles arrived. But these were not like Krell missiles. These were smart. They dodged, weaved, and cooperated with each other. When the Krell shot one down, 2 others used the explosion as cover to get closer. 5 missiles reached their targets. 5 nuclear detonations lit up space. When the light faded, 5 Krell ships were gone. Simply gone. Status? Chen requested. Shield strength at 94%. All weapon systems operational. Enemy formation breaking apart. The Krell battle group was in chaos. They had never experienced combat like this. The human ship moved through their formations like a shark through fish. Every shot it fired killed or crippled a ship. Their own weapons seemed almost useless. Jothik watched from his flagship in growing horror. In less than 10 minutes he had lost 15 ships. 15. And the human vessel showed no signs of damage. "All ships concentrate fire on the human vessel," he screamed. "Everything we have, now." Every remaining Krell ship opened fire at once. The space around the Indomitable became a storm of energy and metal. Surely nothing could survive such an assault. The Indomitable's shields glowed bright blue, absorbing the incredible punishment. Alarms rang on the bridge. Shields at 72%. The tactical officer reported. "They are actually causing damage, Captain." "Noted," Chen said. "Deploy countermeasures. Activate the hammer." From the Indomitable's belly, something launched. Not a missile. Something much larger. It split apart in space, becoming 6 separate objects. These objects did not head toward the Krell ships. Instead, they positioned themselves in a hexagonal pattern around the battle group. "What are those?" Jothik demanded. His science officer stared at his sensors in confusion. "Unknown, Commander. They appear to be generating some kind of field. Wait, energy spike detected. Commander, those devices are drawing power from our ship's reactors." The 6 devices activated simultaneously. Beams of coherent energy lanced out, connecting them in a web of light. Any Krell ship caught in that web simply stopped. Their power systems drained instantly. Lights went out. Weapons went silent. Life support failed. "Get us out of here," Jothik ordered, but 12 of his ships were already dead in space. Floating hulks, their crews suffocating in the cold. Chen watched the effect with satisfaction. "Deactivate hammer. Target the disabled vessels with precision strikes. Railguns only. Leave survivors if possible." The Indomitable systematically destroyed the helpless Krell ships, not with nuclear weapons. Just solid metal moving very, very fast. Each shot was carefully placed to breach the hull but not vaporize the entire vessel. A mercy of sorts. Some Krell might escape in life pods. 20 minutes after the battle began, it was over. 35 Krell ships destroyed, 12 disabled and drifting. Only 12 escaped, limping away at maximum speed. The Indomitable had not sustained a single serious hit. Throughout the galaxy, everyone who had sensors pointed at that battle sat in stunned silence. One human ship had destroyed or disabled an entire Krell battle group, alone. Captain Chen opened a channel again. This time she did not just broadcast to the Krell, she broadcast to everyone. "I am Captain Sarah Chen of the Terran United Fleet. For 30 years, humanity has watched the Krell Dominion terrorize this galaxy. We have watched them burn worlds and slaughter innocents. We have watched the Confederation fight bravely against impossible odds. She paused, letting her words sink in. The time for watching is over. The Krell Dominion's expansion ends today. Any Krell vessel that approaches Sanctuary Prime will be destroyed. Any Krell fleet that threatens civilian populations will be destroyed. Commander Zyathik sat alone in his private chamber, staring at the tactical reports. The numbers did not lie. 47 ships sent to destroy one human vessel. Only 12 returned. And those 12 were damaged, their crews terrified and demoralized. He had sent the reports to Krell High Command. Their response had been immediate and brutal. He was not relieved of command. That would be too merciful. Instead, they gave him one simple order: destroy the human ship or die trying. Failure would mean execution. His entire bloodline would be erased from Krell records. But how do you destroy something that cannot be killed? A knock at his door pulled him from dark thoughts. Enter. His intelligence officer stepped inside, mandibles quivering with nervousness. Commander, we have completed analysis of the human vessel. Tell me something useful. The ship's technology is advanced beyond anything in our database. Their shields appear to be multi-layered, possibly using gravitational distortion. Their weapons employ kinetic acceleration methods we do not fully understand. And that energy-draining device. The officer paused. We have no defense against it, Zyathik growled. What are you saying? That we cannot win? I am saying one ship is this powerful, Commander. What if there are more? The question hung in the air like poison. Zyathik had been thinking the same thing. One ship had devastated his fleet. What if the humans sent 10, 100? We must assume this is their only ship, Zyathik said, though he did not believe it himself. High Command is sending reinforcements. The entire Dominion fleet is converging on this sector. 600 ships will become 1,000, then 2,000. And if that is not enough, Zyathik leaned forward, then the Krell Dominion will die. But we will take the humans with us. On Sanctuary Prime, the mood had shifted from despair to cautious hope. The human ship had taken up position in orbit, a silent guardian watching over the planet. Captain Chen had allowed a delegation to come aboard. Admiral Kessitral stood in the Indomitable's docking bay, surrounded by his aides. The bay itself was enormous, larger than some Confederation ships. Everything gleamed with clean efficiency. Human crew members moved about their duties, barely glancing at the alien visitors. A human woman approached. She was smaller than Kestral had expected, wearing a simple blue uniform, but she carried herself with absolute confidence. Admiral Kestral, Captain Chen said, extending her hand in the human greeting. Welcome aboard the Indomitable. Kessitral awkwardly mimicked the gesture, clasping her hand. Captain Chen, on behalf of the Confederation, I thank you for your intervention. You have saved billions of lives, Chen smiled slightly. The battle is not over, Admiral. The Krell will return, and they will bring everything they have. She led the delegation through the ship's corridors. Kessitral noticed everything. The weapons mounted at regular intervals. The blast doors that could seal off sections in seconds. The crew members who moved with military precision. This was not a ship. This was a flying fortress. They entered the bridge. Kessitral stopped, staring. The view screens showed tactical displays far beyond anything the Confederation possessed. Multiple sensor readings updated in real time. Trajectory calculations running continuously. And in the center, a holographic display of the entire sector. We have been monitoring Krell communications, Chen said, gesturing to the display. They are massing their fleet. Current estimates suggest over 600 vessels will arrive within 3 days. 600. Kessitral repeated quietly. Captain, your ship is powerful. But even you cannot fight 600 ships alone. Chen's smile grew wider. You are correct, Admiral. I cannot. She touched a control. The holographic display changed. New contacts appeared at the edge of the silent sector. Not one ship. 12 ships, each one similar in design to the Indomitable. Allow me to introduce the rest of my fleet, Chen said. 11 more ships like mine, and one very special vessel. The display zoomed in on the largest contact. It was massive, easily 5 times the size of the Indomitable. Its designation read, Toughs Unconquerable. That, Chen said quietly, is a dreadnought. And it is carrying our fleet, Admiral. Kessitral felt his legs weaken. 12 ships, 12 human warships, each one capable of destroying dozens of Krell vessels, and a dreadnought that made them look small. "How long have you been watching us?" he asked. 30 years, Chen admitted. "We detected the Krell when they first began their expansion. We watched them destroy civilization after civilization. We monitored your Confederation's formation and your attempts to resist. And you did nothing?" Chen's expression hardened. "We debated, endlessly. Some humans argued we should help immediately. Others said it was not our fight, that we should stay hidden and let the galaxy sort out its own problems." She looked directly at Kestrel. "I was one of those who wanted to help from the beginning. I am glad the debate finally ended." "Why now?" Kestrel asked. "Why not years ago when you could have saved so many more?" "Because humans are cowards," a new voice said. Everyone turned. A hologram had appeared on the bridge. It showed another human, older than Chen, with gray hair and hard eyes. His uniform bore more decorations. "Fleet Admiral Marcus Rivera," the hologram said. "And before you judge us too harshly, Admiral Kestrel, understand this. Humanity fought wars that nearly destroyed our entire species. We built weapons that could sterilize planets. We killed each other by the millions. When we finally achieved peace, we swore never to return to those dark days." Rivera's image walked closer, though he was not physically present. "For 3 decades we have watched your galaxy tear itself apart. We have watched and learned and prepared, because we knew that if we intervened, we would have to commit fully. No half measures, no symbolic gestures. Either we stop the Krell completely or we do not act at all." "And now?" Kestrel asked. "Now we are committed," Rivera said simply. "Captain Chen has drawn the line. The Krell will either accept our terms or be destroyed. There is no middle ground." The hologram vanished. Chen turned to Kestrel. "Admiral, I need you to evacuate as many civilians as possible from Sanctuary Prime. Get them to your other 2 systems. The battle that is coming will be like nothing this galaxy has seen." "You expect to lose?" "No," Chen said. "I expect to win. But war is unpredictable, and I will not risk 3 billion lives on expectations." Kestrel nodded slowly. "It will be done." "Captain, one more question." "Yes? If you have been preparing for 30 years, why send only 12 ships? Surely Earth has more." Chen smiled again, but this time it was not friendly. It was the smile of a predator. "Oh, Admiral, we have more, many more, but 12 ships should be enough to handle 600 Krell vessels. If we need reinforcement," she paused, "then the Krell will learn what happens when you truly anger humanity." The delegation departed soon after. As Kestrel's shuttle flew back to Sanctuary Prime, he looked up at the human ships taking position in orbit. 12 vessels against 600. The odds still seemed impossible, but he had seen what one human ship could do. 3 days later, the Krell Armada arrived. 623 ships dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the system. It was the largest Krell fleet ever assembled. Every available vessel pulled from a dozen conquered systems. Commander Jathic stood on his bridge, staring at the tactical display. There, 12 human ships in defensive formation around Sanctuary Prime. Just 12. "They are insane," his tactical officer whispered. "No," Jathic said. "They are confident. That makes them dangerous." He had orders from high command. "Destroy the human fleet. Take Sanctuary Prime. Show the galaxy that the Krell could not be stopped." If he failed, his species would lose everything. Their reputation, their conquered worlds, their power. "All ships," Jathic broadcast. "Advance in formation. Prepare for total combat. Today we show these humans what it means to fight the Krell Dominion." 600 ships moved forward as one. It was a sight that had broken the spirit of countless civilizations. An unstoppable tide of metal and weaponry. Aboard the unconquerable, Fleet Admiral Rivera watched them come. His bridge crew worked silently, efficiently. Every system hummed at peak performance. "Distance to enemy fleet?" Rivera asked. 2 million kilometers and closing, Admiral." "Good." Rivera opened a channel to all human ships. "This is Admiral Rivera. Execute Protocol Thermopylae. We hold the line here. Not one Krell ship reaches that planet." "Understood?" 11 voices responded as one. "Understood, Admiral." Rivera leaned back in his command chair. He had spent 30 years preparing for this moment. 30 years studying Krell tactics, Krell weapons, Krell psychology. They thought numbers would win the day. They were about to learn otherwise. "All ships," Rivera said calmly. "Weapons free. Show them what humans do when innocents are threatened. The 12 human ships began to glow as their weapons powered up, and in the cold vacuum of space, the greatest battle the galaxy had ever seen was about to begin. The Krell Armada advanced like a wave of darkness, blotting out the stars. 623 ships, their weapons already charging, their crews eager for blood. They had destroyed civilizations with smaller fleets. 12 human ships seemed like an insult. Commander Jathic divided his fleet into 3 attack groups. The first would engage the human ships directly. The second would flank and surround. The third would break through and bombard Sanctuary Prime. Simple tactics. Overwhelming force. It had always worked before. All forward batteries, fire at will, Jathic commanded. The first wave of Krell ships opened fire. Hundreds of plasma torpedoes and energy beams crossed the empty space between the fleets. A wall of deadly light racing toward the human ships. The human vessels did not scatter, did not retreat. They held formation, a shield wall protecting the planet behind them. Then they moved. It happened so fast that Krell sensors struggled to track it. The human ships accelerated to speeds that should have torn them apart. They slipped between incoming fire like dancers, like water flowing around stone. Every shot the Krell fired missed. Impossible, Jathic's tactical officer breathed. No ship can maneuver like that at combat speeds. Fire again. Jathic roared. Saturate the area. They cannot dodge forever. The Krell doubled their fire rate. Thousands of weapons lit up the void, and still the human ships danced through the storm untouched. Then the humans returned fire. From the Unconquerable, Fleet Admiral Rivera watched his tactical display with satisfaction. Captain Chen, take the Indomitable and her group to the enemy's left flank. Hit them hard, then fall back. Make them chase you. Acknowledged, Admiral. Chen's voice came through. Breaking formation now. 4 human ships peeled away from the main group, accelerating toward a cluster of Krell vessels. The Krell commanders saw an opportunity. 4 ships separated from their fleet. Easy targets. 60 Krell ships moved to intercept. Captain Chen smiled on her bridge. Weapons prepare spread pattern, Charlie. Point defense, maximum priority on protecting our sisters. The 4 human ships formed a tight diamond formation. As the Krell closed in, they opened fire simultaneously. Not at the Krell ships. At the space around them, hundreds of small projectiles burst from the human vessels. They seemed to float there, suspended in space. The Krell laughed. They had missed. Then the projectiles exploded. Not with fire or light, with electromagnetic pulses. Massive bursts of energy that washed over the Krell ships like a tidal wave. Krell systems went dark. Shields collapsed. Weapons powered down. Navigation failed. 60 ships became 60 pieces of drifting metal. Before the Krell could recover, the human ships fired again, this time with their railguns. 60 metal slugs. 60 perfect hits. 60 explosions. Chen's group did not stay to admire their work. They were already accelerating away, leading other Krell ships on a chase. Admiral, Chen reported. First strike successful. 60 enemy vessels destroyed. No damage to our ships. Well done, Captain, Rivera responded. All groups execute pattern Delta. Let us show them what coordinated warfare looks like. The remaining 8 human ships split into pairs. Each pair targeted a different section of the Krell formation. They moved in perfect synchronization, their computers networked together, sharing targeting data in real time. Jathic watched in growing horror as his fleet began to fall apart. The humans were not fighting like any enemy he had ever faced. They did not simply shoot and hope to hit. Every move was calculated. Every shot placed with precision, and they worked together in ways that seemed impossible. Focus fire on single targets, he commanded. Stop trying to hit all of them. Pick one ship and destroy it. 100 Krell vessels converged on a single human cruiser. Surely, Jathic thought, surely that much firepower could not be avoided. But the other human ships saw what was happening. They moved to support their companion. And that was when Jathic learned about networked shield systems. The human ships connected their defensive fields, creating a single massive shield that surrounded all of them. The Krell fire hit that shield and stopped. The combined power of 12 human ships absorbed damage that would have destroyed any single vessel. Impossible, Jathic whispered. They are sharing their shield power. Commander, we are detecting weapons launch from the human dreadnought. Jathic's attention snapped to the Unconquerable. The massive ship had been hanging back, directing the battle. Now its main cannon was powering up. Evasive maneuvers, Jathik screamed. All ships scatter. Too late, the Unconquerable's main weapon fired. It was not a railgun, not a missile. It was a beam of pure energy, focused and contained by magnetic fields. A particle beam weapon that made Krell plasma weapons look like toys. The beam cut through space like a sword of light. It touched a Krell supercarrier. The ship, which held 3,000 Krell warriors, did not explode. It simply ceased to be. Vaporized. Atoms scattered across space. The beam continued, touching 3 more ships behind the carrier. All 4 vessels gone in less than 2 seconds. Secondary batteries, Rivera ordered calmly. Target their command ships. Remove their leadership. The Unconquerable had more than just its main cannon. Dozens of smaller weapons opened fire. Each one tracked a Krell command vessel. Each one fired with perfect accuracy. 20 Krell commanders died in the next minute. 20 fleet segments suddenly lost coordination. Ships collided with each other. Orders were confused. The formation collapsed into chaos, and the human ships pressed their advantage. Captain Chen brought her group back into the main battle. They had led 50 Krell ships away from the main fleet. Those 50 ships followed, eager to finally catch the humans. They flew right into a trap. The other human ships had deployed mines. Not traditional mines, smart mines with small engines and targeting systems. As the Krell ships entered the field, the mines activated. They attached themselves to Krell hulls and began drilling. Breach! Breach! Krell crew members screamed across 50 ships. Atmosphere vented into space. Emergency bulkheads sealed, trapping crew members in doomed sections. The human ships finished them with railgun fire, precise shots to the engine sections. 50 ships became floating wrecks in less than 5 minutes. Jathik looked at his tactical display. He had started with 623 ships. After 2 hours of battle, he had 412 left. 211 ships destroyed or disabled, and the humans had not lost a single vessel. Not one. All ships, fall back to defensive formation, Jathik ordered. We need to regroup. But the humans were not going to let him regroup. They sensed weakness. They pushed harder. Rivera opened a channel to the entire Krell fleet. His voice boomed across every ship. Krell Fleet Commander, you have lost. Withdraw now or I will destroy every single ship you have. Jathik felt rage burn through his fear. You are only 12 ships. We still outnumber you. Numbers mean nothing, Rivera said, when you do not know how to use them. Last chance, Commander. Withdraw or die. Jathik knew he should retreat. He knew he was beaten. But Krell High Command's orders were clear. Destroy the humans or be executed. His bloodline would be erased. His clan dishonored forever. All ships, Jathik said quietly, prepare for final assault. We will take the planet even if we have to ram our ships into the human vessels. His officers stared at him. Commander, that is suicide. Yes, Jathik agreed. But it is honorable suicide. The Krell do not run. The Krell do not surrender. If we must die today, we will die killing humans. He opened a channel to his fleet. All Krell warriors. Today we face an enemy stronger than us. Today we face defeat. But we are Krell. We do not know the word retreat. We do not fear death. If we cannot take that planet with our weapons, we will take it with our lives. All ships, maximum speed. Ram the human fleet. For the Dominion! 400 ships answered his call. 400 crews accepting their deaths. They accelerated toward the human ships, abandoning all tactics, all strategy. Just raw determination to kill. Rivera watched them come. For a moment, something like respect crossed his face. They choose to die with honor. So be it, all ships, Alpha strike. End this quickly. Every human ship fired everything at once. Railguns, missiles, energy weapons, particle beams. The space between the fleets became a wall of death. Krell ships broke apart under the assault. Dozens died in seconds. But they kept coming. Some made it close enough to ram. But the human ships were too fast, too maneuverable. They slipped aside at the last moment, letting Krell vessels shoot past into empty space. Commander, Jathik's tactical officer shouted. The humans are targeting our weapons. They are trying to disable us, not destroy us. Jathik realized it was true. The humans could have vaporized his remaining ships. Instead, they were taking out engines and weapons, leaving the hulls intact. Leaving survivors, why? He wondered aloud. Why show mercy now? His answer came from an unexpected source, a new voice on the communication channel. Not Rivera, Not Chen, a different human. Because, the voice said, we want someone to survive. Someone to tell the Krell High Command what happened here today. Someone to explain that humanity is not like you. We do not glory in slaughter. We take no pleasure in extinction. But we will defend the innocent always. Jothik looked at his tactical display. 80 ships remained. 80 out of 623 all disabled. Commander Jothik sat in his disabled ship, surrounded by emergency lighting and silent stations. Around him, his bridge crew looked broken. They had witnessed the impossible. The entire might of the Krell Dominion defeated by 12 ships. 12. A hologram appeared on his bridge. Fleet Admiral Rivera stood there, his expression neutral, not triumphant, not mocking. Just tired. Commander Jothik, Rivera said, I am granting you temporary communication access. You will send a message to your high command. Tell them exactly what happened here. They will execute me, Jothik said flatly. My entire bloodline will be erased. Perhaps, Rivera acknowledged. But that is a problem for later. Right now you have a choice. Send the message or I will destroy your remaining ships with all hands aboard. Jothik looked at his crew, young warriors who had believed the Krell were invincible, who had learned today that they were not. Did they deserve to die because of his failure? I will send your message, he said finally. Good, and Commander? Make sure they understand this. What happened today was not our full strength. Earth has 100 more ships like mine. We have weapons you have not seen yet. We have been preparing for war for 3 decades. The only reason more ships did not come is because we did not need them. The hologram vanished. Jothik composed his message carefully. He left nothing out. The human speed, their coordination, their weapons that turned Krell ships into scrap metal. He attached all sensor data, all recordings, everything. Then he sent it to Krell High Command and waited for his death sentence. On Sanctuary Prime, billions watched the disabled Krell fleet with disbelief. The monsters who had haunted their nightmares for 200 cycles were now helpless, drifting in space, defeated. Admiral Kestrel stood in the human dreadnought's conference room. Rivera had invited him aboard to discuss terms, but first the human admiral had something to show him. This is Earth, Rivera said, bringing up a holographic display. A blue and green world appeared, beautiful and peaceful. 300 years ago, we nearly destroyed it. The display changed. Cities burning, mushroom clouds rising, continents scarred by war. We had nuclear weapons, Rivera continued, biological weapons, chemical weapons. We could have made our planet uninhabitable. We came very close, and what stopped you? Kestrel asked. Fear, Rivera said simply. Fear of what we had become. Fear of what we would lose. So we chose peace. We dismantled our war machines. We united as one species. We reached for the stars. Another image appeared. Human ships exploring space. Human colonies on distant worlds. But we never forgot the lessons of our wars, Rivera said. We never forgot how to fight. Because we knew that peace only exists when the strong protect the weak. When those who can fight choose to fight for those who cannot. He looked directly at Kestrel. Your confederation tried to stop the Krell. You fought bravely. But you were not strong enough. And we watched you struggle. We watched you die. That was our shame. We should have helped sooner. Why did you not? Politics, fear, selfishness. Rivera's jaw tightened. Some humans argued that getting involved would risk human lives for aliens we did not know. Others said the galaxy needed to solve its own problems. It took 3 decades of debate before we finally acted. And now? Kestrel asked. Now we finish what we started. The Krell Dominion will surrender. They will return all conquered territories. They will pay reparations. They will dismantle their war fleet. And humanity will enforce these terms. The Krell will never agree to that. They would rather die. Rivera smiled grimly. Then we will let them choose. 2 days later, the response came from Krell High Command. They rejected all terms. They demanded the humans leave Confederation space immediately. They threatened to send their entire species into battle. They chose death over surrender. Rivera was not surprised. He had studied Krell psychology. Pride was everything to them. Admitting defeat would destroy their society more thoroughly than any weapon. So he gave them a different option. He hacked into their communication networks. It was surprisingly easy. Krell cybersecurity was designed to stop physical attacks, not the sophisticated digital warfare humans had perfected. Within hours, Every Krell world received the same broadcast. Recordings of the battle, unedited, uncensored. 600 Krell ships destroyed by 12 human vessels. Their mighty fleet reduced to scrap. But Rivera did not stop there. He also sent historical records. Documents showing how Krell leaders had lied to their people. How they had sacrificed thousands of lives for glory. How they had turned down peace offers from species that would have traded peacefully. The Krell people saw everything, and they were furious. Riots broke out on the Krell homeworld. Citizens demanded answers. Why had their leaders sent them to die? Why had they started wars of conquest when they could have prospered through trade? Why had they made enemies of species that could have been friends? Jothik watched it all from his disabled ship. He received messages from his own family, his mates, his offspring. They asked him why. Why had he led so many warriors to their deaths? Why had he not retreated when he saw how powerful the humans were? He had no good answers. Within a week, Krell High Command collapsed. Not from human weapons, from their own people's rage. New leaders emerged. Leaders who were tired of war. Leaders who wanted peace. They contacted Fleet Admiral Rivera with a simple message. We surrender. What are your terms? Rivera met with them via hologram. The new Krell leaders looked different from the old. Younger, less scarred by battle. One of them spoke for the group. Admiral Rivera. We offer complete surrender. We will accept any terms you set. We only ask that you not destroy our species. Rivera studied them for a long moment. Your old leaders wanted glory. They wanted conquest. What do you want? To survive, the speaker said honestly. To rebuild. To live in peace. Then here are my terms, Rivera said. You will withdraw from all conquered territories immediately. You will return these worlds to their original inhabitants. You will pay reparations to all species you have harmed. You will reduce your military to defensive forces only, and you will open your borders to trade and diplomacy. The Krell leaders looked at each other. These were harsh terms, but fair. Much fairer than what they had given their victims. We accept, the speaker said. One more thing, Rivera added. You will establish diplomatic relations with the Terran United Fleet. We will monitor your compliance with these terms. If you break them, we will return, and next time we will not be merciful. Understood, Admiral. 3 months later, Captain Sarah Chen stood on Sanctuary Prime. Around her, Confederation citizens celebrated their liberation. Krell ships were leaving. Occupied worlds were free again. The nightmare was over. Admiral Kessitral approached her. The old commander looked years younger now that the war had ended. Captain Chen, on behalf of the Confederation, I thank you. You have given us back our future. Chen smiled. We just finished what you started, Admiral. Your people fought bravely. Never forget that. I have a question, Kestrel said. Why did you stay hidden for so long? If you had revealed yourselves earlier, millions of lives could have been saved. Chen's smile faded. You are right, and that is something humans will have to live with. We were afraid. Afraid of getting involved. Afraid of repeating our own mistakes. That fear cost many lives. She looked up at the sky where the human fleet was preparing to depart. But we learned something. Watching is not enough. When evil rises, good people must act, even if it is dangerous. Even if it is hard. That is the price of peace. What will you do now? Kessitral asked. We will return to Earth, Chen said. But we will leave monitoring stations. Ships on patrol. If the galaxy needs us again, we will come. That is humanity's promise. Fleet Admiral Rivera stood on the bridge of the Unconquerable, watching the coordinates for Earth appear on his navigation display. His mission was complete. The Krell were defeated. The Confederation was safe. But he knew this was just the beginning. The galaxy was vast. There would be other threats. Other species that chose violence over peace. And humanity would be watching. A junior officer approached him. Admiral, all ships report ready for departure. Very good. Take us home. As the human fleet prepared to jump to hyperspace, Rivera activated one final system. A beacon left in orbit around Sanctuary Prime. It would broadcast continuously in every known language. The message was simple. The Terran United Fleet watches over this sector. Any species that threatens peaceful civilizations will face humanity. Choose peace or face the consequences. This is not a threat. This is a promise. The human ships vanished into hyperspace, leaving the beacon behind. On worlds across the galaxy, people looked up at the stars with new hope. The monsters that had ravaged their homes were gone. And somewhere out there, humans were watching, making sure they stayed gone. Commander Jothic, stripped of his rank but allowed to live, watched the human ships depart from his cell. He had failed his people, but in failing he had saved them. The old Krell would have fought until extinction. The new Krell would learn to live differently. He thought about the human admiral's words, about strength used to protect the weak, about choosing peace but never forgetting how to fight. Perhaps Jothic thought the Krell could learn from that. Perhaps there was hope after all.